where can the government actually come in directly instead of having to start from scratch?
Even I wrote a letter to the ministry to call for a meeting also, we don't get it. Maybe they feel that it's not in their KPI or whatever, I don't know.
As a consumer, I think it wouldn't be fair for us to have to absorb those costs.
Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Beyond the Headlines. My name is Amalina Kamal.
And I'm Hazwin Hassan. More than R1 million worth of subsidised liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, has been seized since Ops Gasak, short for Operasi Gas Memasak, began on May 1st. The nationwide crackdown targets illegal decanting, smuggling and misuse of subsidised gas, particularly in medium to large-scale industries. Under the operation, hawker stalls and eateries can no longer use household LPG cylinders. They must now switch to the 14-kilogram purple commercial tanks, priced at 70 ringgit each.
Yes, and in just 2 weeks, the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry has uncovered 52 cases of misuse, with seizures amounting to 850,000 ringgit. Now, inspections covered over 1,400 premises nationwide, including 11 cases in Penang alone. So among the biggest hauls include 300,000 ringgit in Klang, with over 1,500 cylinders, 65,000 ringgit in Ajil Terengganu, involving 477 cylinders and 2 lorries, 67,000 ringgit in Negeri Sembilan, and 100,000 ringgit in Puchong, where a ton of gas was confiscated.
A technical committee has been set up to assess the need to amend the Control of Supplies Amendment Regulations 2021. While Ops Gasak runs under existing laws, including the Control of Supplies Act and Price Control Act, Minister Dato' Armiza Muhammad Ali insists that there are no new policies or subsidy cuts. Now, Ops Gasak will run until October 31st, but once it ends, a full report could pave the way for how the government regulates subsidised LPG.
And the big question now is that will food prices increase as small businesses absorb the cost of switching to commercial gas? Now, here with us to help answer this particular question, we've got SME Association Malaysia President Dr Chin Chee Seong on the show. Welcome, Dr Chin, to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Pleasure to have you. Now, Doctor, let's just go straight into the Ops Gasak that just took place, right? Now, do you believe that this particular operation has been communicated early enough to SMEs, especially regarding permit requirements and enforcements?
Okay, the answer is no. Even though there are some official dissemination of information regarding this, but there's no particular information to us, to inform not only our association, there are many other associations, although they don't even have any information regarding the implementation of this, such as Ops Gasak, right? To us, I think the word Gasak makes a very complicated question that we come up with. Is it a very rough thing, or is it a very swift thing that government to do, especially when they talk about gas subsidy? And very sensitive among the micro SME, especially, even the SMEs. They are worried about, are there compliance they have to follow, or what kind of permit they have to apply? Because that's the information being disseminated through the social media by different party. Right? Those was telling a different story. It's against what the ministry have been announced. So that create confusion among us. And if we are not being engaged enough, so we will also be confused, right? And when we were asked, that we don't know how to answer. And basically, like as usual, we have been facing so many, lately so many cost implementation coming up by the government, right?
Yeah. I'm just curious to know in what areas are traders actually confused at?
Is it this what they're saying now, they are not going to enjoy the subsidy, number one. They were telling them, and they do not know about the 3 tong kind of restriction. They have to use 3. After that, they have to switch to the commercial tank, which costs 70. Even the same tank they're using, right? So, but this is the rules that have been set long time. Only they didn't make known to many of them, because it doesn't really affect many, because I don't believe many at SME, especially the eateries, the hawkers, are using more than 3, right, at one time.
Yeah.
So the so-called instruction or information given to us is not clear. So the clarity is not there. So people get confused. So this is where the problem lies.
I want to ask you, is it fair though, because we are going to see prices go up, right? And it's not just eateries, but even laundrettes could potentially see prices go up by 40%, and perhaps more so for dry cleaning services. So how can we manage this? Because as a consumer, I think it wouldn't be fair for us to have to absorb those costs. How can we manage this?
I totally agree with you that all the businesses shouldn't throw back, their cost to the consumer. But that's what the SMEs do. That's what the micro SMEs do. Because they have to survive. Not necessarily they make money all this while, because if the cost of supply increase, but lately it's not so much on the gas alone. The gas is just part of the issue that we face. There are other costs that are coming in. Electricity bill going to go up by July. Right. We know that.
Yep.
And the cost of labor has been gone up. And it's not easy to get workers to pay them low, especially in the town area. So those are the things that add on to it. And what you mentioned just now, not the gas issue is just a small issue that was played out by a lot of parties.
Yeah.
I believe that, right? And also, not so much on that alone. There are some restaurants, the mid-sized restaurants, are also forced to switch. There are those restaurants using gas tank. They are asked to use direct pipe, or they switch to other, because they got to get permit. Anything more than 3 tong, you have to get permit. Permit in a way, I think it's good because it's for safety purpose, right? You have to install, and also a little bit confused because I have members who receive letter of warning from Suruhanjaya Tenaga. Is that ST responsibility or KPDN HDP responsibility?
Right, but how long has this been taking place? I mean, or at least the comments that you've gained and you've actually
It was
been made
happening
aware of.
the past few months.
Okay.
These past few months. So this what I call the gas tank issue, it's just another issue that we will play out. But of course, if that's true, the cost going to increase for sure. Like you mentioned just now, the cost will put back to the consumer. SME business people won't keep the cost and not increase their selling price. Not most of them will, because they have to. Must think. It's not that we want to make more profit. Remember that we have COVID, the 3 years.
Yep.
When we suffer, who going to help us?
Right.
We don't have saving, we are dead.
Right.
That's the reason why they have to make profit.
Right.
Yeah.
If we zero in back again into this Ops Gasak move, like how can the government actually be more measured in their approaches? Because the main issue here is about smuggling activities,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
To what extent is this dire to the SMEs themselves?
I think I don't really receive any complaint from our SME regarding this. Even the restaurant, they already start switching to other means. Some of them switch to induction, electricity. Some of them, because of the fact that they unclear compliances, so they say, myself, I switch to electricity. But which will cost them a little bit more, right? But it doesn't matter. They will absorb the cost. But if the increase in electricity coming again, then probably they will increase again their selling price or their cost to consumer. So, like what you say is right. Going to the bigger eatery, the bigger restaurant to make sure they're compliant so that there's no foul play. Right? Some of them probably they buy those subsidy tank and use, and from a unknown party, right? But so far, if they do that, they won't tell us. You know what I mean? We won't get the information. No trader will tell us. No restaurant will tell us they do that. So going out to check all these restaurants whether they comply or not, that's good. That's a good thing to do. But at least mention to them first. Don't just go and do a abrupt, come and attack them, or search them, whatever. Because some good one may feel offended.
But now, interestingly, as you mentioned, Doctor, this does not impact small-scale traders that much. But the government has actually looked into exempting small-scale food and beverage traders to using, from against using, subsidized LPG. Do you think this sort of like, jumping of decision making is confusing, adding to more of the confusion? I
think basically I understand why he do that, because there's so many talk about this, and he just want to come out and clarify to assure the small trader and those guys, this is not going to happen to you all. Don't worry. right? But this is normally, I don't understand why they always do this. This is not the first time, right? They always pull back something, then they throw out first. And that will be no good. And then look back on the government itself, right? Your policy, you are not unclear about policy. Don't say it, don't bring it out, right? And you say Gasak, become like a very big thing. Now you say it doesn't involve that, only involve this. Myself, you keep it low and then just make your the objective of what you want to do.
But just as a reaction, right, to the ministry's latest update here, do you think this is a good move?
It's a good move. They should clarify that. Right? Even for day one, they should do that. But why take so long to come after even so many politicians come out and talk? Right? I mean, we hope that they react faster rather than just leave it without answers.
But it's just they are exempted until October. But the Ops Gasak is still ongoing, but they are exempted until October, until Ops Gasak ends, and then probably they will reconsider whether or not to include the small traders into this particular consideration. So within this period, right? So what are the key areas that the government should really look into?
I mean, to be frank, after Chinese New Year, the retail business have been dropping. You can see the report coming out later by the MRC, all those. The sales have been dropping. The consumer spending have been dropping. So that become not a good sign at all for us. And if more costs are putting in, and such as this tank issue, gas issue they bring out, then you're giving yourself a chance for other opposition to hit you, right? Unnecessarily. I know the Op Gasak means they want to attack a different problem, not so much on the micro traders, but it become a story. It become an issue right now.
Right. Interesting you put it that way. They're using Ops Gasak to attack a problem that's probably not suited to the enforcement. What should be done, actually? What should Ops Gasak be substituted with?
I think firstly, if I'm going to run it, I will, there are many eateries that roughly how big the size they were involved in this. Like the restaurant owner that I told you just now, they receive letter from restaurant because they know this restaurant is a big restaurant chain. They definitely use more. So from that data, you inform them first, right? Inform them. We are going to do an operation to check your restaurant whether you confine to the regulation or not.
Right.
Do you have license or not? So then you go and do your enforcement, area by area or whatsoever, because you also have limited people. I understand. So by letting them know first, we give them time, give them like 3 months to make it right. If you do it not right, this is the information, right? This run Tenaga, their letter I seen already, which is also good. They don't take action against you straight away. They inform you, you please do this. You don't do this, you are going to subject to this fine, subject to this jail term, whatever. You fear them.
Can SME Association at least indicate or give clarity in terms of who actually qualifies for the exemption? Who can actually call themselves micro, small scale trader in this context? Because what we don't want is people taking advantage of this particular situation by exploiting the exemption, right? When in the background there are actually a large scale sort of operation. So how can we determine which is micro scale, which is actually big scale, in what percentage? Actually, SMEs are we at right now?
You see, I don't know how their distribution system lie, but I think from the distribution of your gas tank, who are your distributor? Where they distributor to? Who are their buyer? There should be a record. So that record indicate how many go to micro SME, really go to the eateries, or you go to the restaurant, or you go to the home. If you found somebody who keep on buying that, and then re-tank it, and then probably change the color or whatever, then you sell higher. So that is where I think Op Gasak trying to do, to prevent those people. I mean, internally, I believe they can. Probably it's between the supply chain has issue, not so much on the end user. Right? End user, I buy how many, you will know. My record in my account show that I buy how many tank, right? So that part, I don't think so is so much of a worry. It's more on their supply chain. I don't know what happened to their supply chain.
Do you think it would be helpful, at least for the government, to set aside for these cylinders meant for households, set aside some allocation for the very small businesses, so that at least they won't feel that much of a pinch?
Correct, it's correct. I think government should, in fact, look at the needs of the SMEs, the needs of the like you say, the household or the eateries, the hawkers, right? I think you can do a rough calculation how many tongs are going there, right? Even per day or per year. And Malaysia is one of the largest production of LPG or this gas, right? So I think getting back to these small traders, it will help to reduce the cost of goods, the cost of E3, cost is going up, right? A bowl of mee goreng is gone up from $6 to 10 ringgit. So that's where we face all the issue, because all these little things, they add up.
Just to echo that, what about a tiered sort of approach, right? A tiered subsidy sort of approach. Do you think that is do you think SMEs are able to welcome that, or at least the government can consider? And in what format should it be introduced?
I think tier base is good, because you use the most. Of course, your restaurant are bigger, you use more gas. Right? You use more gas, your business will be good. Right? Your business good, you pay higher price, it's fine. You don't have to take the subsidy. But for those micro SME, maybe 3 tong may not be enough, I don't know. Right? So they have to do a study. Whether the 3 tong is work together, one shot, or you use one another, you cannot buy more than 3 in a certain period.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I think, I don't see any part that gets this clarification. Do you see any of that?
How has the SME Association engaged with with KPDM, with the ministry, so far, and in terms especially offering input of co-development and clearer implementation of the rules and what you've just explained to us, right? The framework for this ops Gasak.
Or any other ops in the future.
For other ministry, I keep it aside, keep it in first. The rest of ministry always engage with us. We have MITI, we have Matre, we have Minister Digital, we have Ministry of Communication, we even have HDN, Custom. They engage with SMEs. Maybe because there's more on business side. So KPDN, not so much.
Okay.
I don't know what is the policy, but they should in fact engage with us, because there are a lot of our members also dealing with consumer. Right? We have more information on that. But even I wrote a letter to the ministry to call for a meeting also, we don't get it. Maybe they feel that it's not in their, in their KPI or whatever, I don't know.
Just curious, in that letter, or what are some of the concerns that you've raised that you would like to engage more with KPDM with?
Yeah. So what we want to do is first thing, food security. We want to understand how the SMEs, because a lot are also farmers, also manufacturing. So we want to know how could we help to ensure food security is there, and what kind of product that we need the help from the ministry. Right? And there are more other engagement, like one of these is gas subsidies, or any other thing that related to the consumers. Because our SMEs is 2 things. They are service industry. More than 50% are doing service. Manufacturing is very little. The service industry include restaurant, include eateries, include everything, right? So that part is the biggest, and that deal with consumers. So it's more reason for them to engage with us rather than just keep it far away from them.
Well, if you're talking about food security as the main big, I suppose, concern here, what are some of SME Association's approaches with its members to kind of relay that across to the public at large as well? Because sometimes, the internal sort of engagements might not necessarily get enough because they don't have enough visibility, so there's not much encouragement there. But what are the engagements done on the consumer level so that this can be, brought into attention on the ministry side eventually?
Malaysia still had to import a lot of vegetables. A lot of agriculture product we imported. We have a lot of lands, right? We have a lot of farmers willing to farm, but we do not have a good policy to allow this farmer to utilize the land that owned by the government, for instance. Some are the state government, right? In fact, we put a proposal. Some of our members who is doing farming, right, aquaculture farming, or even the plantation farming. For them, the toughest part is to get the land. But if we couldn't get a lease of land from the government or the state government, then we could not help to balance the food security in the country. We still need to be an importer country for those two. That is no good, right? Which is wrong. Then we cannot maintain ourselves. So we have been putting proposal to certain relevant agriculture department as well at the ministry that there are a lot of land which is very close to the highway. We can access. They belong to government, but it's left empty. Why can't you just allow us to plant? You give the lease to Malaysian to do the land rather than lease to the foreigner. So these are things that the policy, government side, they have to really rethink. We have put proposal, but whether they accept one, we don't know. But we constantly engage with them. And of course, there are many departments engaged with us. So, but whether what is the reason they don't do it or whatever, they probably have their reasoning on that. But for us, we have to continue to do that.
So, like you mentioned, you've tried to engage with KPDN, to which you've haven't had any response, and you've consistently been trying to do that. You write into them. Now, the Minister, Dato' Amizan, said at the end of the operation, when it ends at the end of October, they will review the whole thing after a full report comes out. Do you think, though, it's still unfair to you because, again, you probably weren't part of the initial discussions, while he did say that there will be input from stakeholders among the other things that will happen before it's presented to Cabinet, but do you think you were sort of deprived of your rights here and to have a say in the laws, in making the laws in the first place?
I think I want to clarify that, not particularly right against this gas issue, because gas issue somehow or other, I know the reason. What I'm saying is that we have been writing to them to seek for a cooperation meeting, but that we don't get, right? So you're right. If you don't get us involved, it definitely deprives us on putting our view, the SMEs, and we represent almost 15,000 companies, businesses in the country as our members, and all in all, you have to even engage us to a certain extent. And sadly, if they don't engage with us, at least engage with those consumer-related association, right? The hawker association, eateries, or the retail chain association. So I don't know how much have they engaged with them, but at the moment, from the reports, from whatever I gather, in fact, nobody knows about, especially on the gas subsidy issue. Right? So we hope in future we will be engaged, and not only our association alone, the rest of the association, right? And then those you think that is related to what you want to announce, what you're going to affect the industry, and let us know. We were willing to meet up with them. Basically, we want to involve in the policy making from day one, if they have anything. Like yesterday, I attended a policy briefing by EPF. EPF called Industrial SMEs, Organized Association, to attend a briefing session with them. And they proposed their policy, they want to make changes. So from the beginning, and policy has not been set yet, not been approved or been discussed within the higher level of the EPF yet, but they engage us. At least they get feedback from us, which is also good for them. And that engagement should be start from beginning, before they will make policy. Not until they make policy and start talking to us. And very difficult for us to convince them to change.
Right, because then that will be an approach where you have to kind of like rationalize what have already been shaped out in that sense, right?
You see, a lot of this compliance issue is because information didn't reach us properly. Even you go to the website, you find it's not clear. And this is number one they should do. Clarity is there, transparency is there. Then when there are a lot of license need to apply, not only particularly this one, compliances or that, but there you cannot find anybody to help you in the ministry when you walk in to the ministry. So some of these ministries ask you go and look for a middleman to help you to register, right? For we have seen many of these such cases happening. I don't want to mention which ministry, but this is happening. Why can't we do it ourselves? Right? There's a lot of cost involved here.
You don't need a third party.
You don't need a third party. Just like the even registration of foreign worker, remember? Huge money we pay for the agent. Right? So these are the things that they should start thinking, engage with us, and put more efficiency in terms of so-called application for licensing. Because license also is a revenue for the government.
Right.
Right? If the government can collect more license, it's good for the country, for the development of the nation, right? And if you're giving a lot of roadblock, a lot of difficulty, then you're washing away a lot of other business people who want to work.
Okay, but at least in terms of transitioning into a more cleaner, sustainable sort of energy sources, right, and having businesses to formalize them, what more can SME Association do to help encourage businesses to go into that culture?
Number one, on this clean energy wise, it's not so much on just compliance alone, like you say, right? It is more of education to them to help the cleaner society. We need that. Right? But now most of them are no worry about their business rather than worry about the environment. are they going to survive for the next 2 years or next few years they are going on? So we are doing a lot of program trying to address that first. In other words, we help them to grow their business. While growing the business, we tell them you have to do this, you have to invest in green, you have to invest in this, renewable energy, whatsoever, so that you will be at par with other manufacturers, for instance, if you're manufacturing. So that is where we're trying to come in. So our main aim is to help them to grow their business, help them to minimize their costs, discuss with the government, help them in terms of grant, finance, capability, whatever, help them to grow. If they are doing well, they pay tax. Government also collect tax. So these are the things we should do that way. I always encourage the various government departments, help Malaysia product to go out. Export. We don't have enough product to export. When I was told to talk in the forum, they asked me, what else Malaysia product that can be export? Yeah. You only can think of durian, bird nest, coffee. Okay. What else?
Chips.
Chips. That's it. I give you chips. But the chips also not so big. Right? Yeah. Some confectionaries, it's not big enough. Don't have a big names.
So sorry, chips by semiconductors, yeah.
I think. But that is not consumer product.
Yeah, it is B2B more.
We are doing well in chip because of investment from US from day one, from many years ago. That's not our product. But we have a good, so-called supply chain system here that can support the chip production, the semiconductor side. So our aim is to get them doing well. Then only they'll talk about cleaner energy or cleaner world. And there are two groups of people. Like I say, there's one group of people who is finding way to survive. The other group is doing well. The mids to high side, they start doing well. And how to make them do better? Because once they do better, they'll hire more people. They'll increase, the labor force in the country. And that part, government have putting some fund to it. Understand? Some so-called the bank loan for them, the SMEs to do export whatsoever, using the low interest loan. That part, yes, but the take-up rate is not so good. Because not all SME are qualified to take all the loans. There's a limit to a company. Right? So that is where, maybe government should specifically look into particular company and businesses they are in, help them, especially in terms of the
capitals. You mean
capital?
Okay.
Help them to capital, help them to grow their company through GLC or whatsoever way, right? Or investment to the company, help them grow bigger from a mid-size to a large size. So these are the things that that's not been doing yet. I believe I heard many times our PMX say that the GLC will come out and help the business to grow. He used to say that, but after that, when it comes to implementation, we don't see any actual project come out from there.
Sorry, you were going to say?
No, I just want to say that the SMEs are actually being overlooked here in that context, right? And are we at risk though?
Again?
Are we at risk? Are the SMEs here at risk? Small, medium
I don't think we are at risk. Malaysia SME, their resilient power is still quite strong.
Okay.
In general. But it's not that they cannot survive. They increase their cost, selling price. For instance, consumer product, you go to eateries, you say they cannot, their cost increase, they increase their noodles, their selling price.
No, but they're
so
static.
The consumer back.
Yeah, but they're static, right?
Yeah, it's static. It's always there, right? So let's say for this case, gas, some people are using that opportunity to so-called increase their price, right? Increase their selling price. It's not every businessman are good, sometimes they also use opportunity, right? But the fact is that from our association end, we're trying to educate them not to do such a thing. And then we conduct a lot of meetings, a lot of networking events, so that they go into the right track. We have to look big. From small, you have to look for mid, then you go big. Not so much on just keep yourself over there, right? So our members are not so much on micro SME, to be frank. They are all small and large. So it's different category. Okay. So the micro SME has their different problem that they face.
Do you find it ironic or funny that while SMEs make the largest portion of the economy, it seems like your voices are not really heard?
I think to a certain extent, yes, right? Or else we'll be more engaged with everybody from the ministry, from the government. I think that it's not that they doesn't want to really look into it, but the minister level or even the PMX level, we want to engage. But maybe when disseminate down to the working group, working government agency, they probably have their own plan or own action plan to work on it. I'm not saying that not government agency that engage with us. There are many government agencies engaged very closely with us, such as Smart Trade, MITI, Ministry of Digital, even LHDN and also EP. Others, there are a lot of ministries. There are some ministry doesn't involve with us. Probably they feel that we are not in their right radar of communication, right? For instance, Ministry of Agriculture seldom deal with us. They thought we are not plantation owner or not farmer or whatever. So probably this is their mindset. I don't know. So we also trying to engage with them. We wrote to them telling them this, please invite us, if you have any sort of a policy implementation, or even you have any issue that you want us to inform our members or the business people, then we can be part of it. You see, the more we know, the closer we understand you, the better word we will say it out. The proper information will be disseminated. So that is what we want. Yeah. We don't want to give wrong information to our members, right? So that will be wrong. But for this case of a gas, in the beginning, I also got confused. Cost again, But if you look into it, not really. But it's because communication is bad.
I agree.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to segue a little bit, because earlier on you did mention you had that discussion with EPF and a few other, I suppose, agencies and ministries in terms of how to kind of like strengthen the SME dynamic here, especially in Malaysia, right? Now, last year, during the presentation of the budget, the government did say that they're going to introduce a multi-tier levy system this year to kind of like reduce the dependency on foreign workers, right?
There are many of our members also reduce their workforce. Those foreign workers, their terms expire, they don't take anymore. Just let them go back. They reduce their production as well. Also partly because their revenue is dropping. Secondly, they are trying to reduce their costs. That's definitely happening. And to be frank, there are still many foreign workers outside there, illegal one. They are not in the real radar. So it's two different things, right? If people really need workers, their industry, they really need workers, but they cannot hire, right? Then they cannot grow their business. They will face problem. Then they will stop their business. You don't do. It's happening, right? And reduction of the manpower is always there already since the day one when they announced this multi-tier levy, all this coming out, right? So what I was suggesting that if we have some of these foreign workers who are here, whether illegally because of their expire of their work permit and they don't go back, all sort of thing, try to bring them back to see what is the reason. And don't just want to penalize them or punish them, right? And then at least bring them to the work that they need, the labor that we still need, rather than import new one. You're still giving new
readjustment. What do you think of the EPF contributions for foreign workers here? Do you think SMEs are able to accommodate that?
I think we have been discussed that topic from day one with the government. Right? We say it shouldn't get more cost to us. 2% seems small, but still a huge cost if you have more numbers of workers. But this is already there. We cannot change. But that engagement is there. For when they want to engage, they was talking about not 2%, they're talking about full.
11 or 13?
To 12.
Oh,
they are talking about full in the beginning. So when we engage, we against, FMM against, we were part of it as well, talking to certain ministry. Then finally they come up with that number. Yeah, 2%, right? I mean, if we know it's a fixed cost, we can manage it, we'll fix it in. But again, they add to our cost. Add to cost, we increase our selling price out, whatever it is. So that is, it's not only one thing, there's so many things. So then we worry the next one is the petrol rationalization coming out. So how much it will affect us is still unknown, but like diesel, it will definitely affect.
Do you think that before they finally roll out the rationalization for petrol subsidies, there will be one final pushback and perhaps the government will not really
go through with the rationalization?
Possible, I don't know.
Because I mean, you're seeing from Gasak already, evident from today. We just got the news in from the ministry saying small businesses, petty traders are going to be exempt at least till the 31st of October. So
I think the challenges is not so much on whether they want to implement or not. It's so difficult to implement. Which category cannot use? How category cannot use? IC? I use my driver go and pump her.
Right.
So these are the issues that they have to face, lah. So I don't know how they're going to manage that or enforce that. You just say that they know the to a few percent of the rich are not going to get it. But not, it's not going to be that way. Just like similar to the diesel, they say no, it won't affect, but they affect.
As we try to navigate the policies at B and understand all this sort of like knee-jerk moves, right? Unfortunately, we have to at least understand how to strike the balance between fiscal discipline as well as sustaining Malaysia's grassroots economy. And unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. I'd like to thank our guest that's here on set, SME Association of Malaysia President, Dr. Chin Chee Seong, here on the show. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your insights.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you very much. I hope my comments will help.
Yes,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at least now we know more on your side of the story.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Hazwin, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And to our audience, back at home, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to also turn on the notification bell if you haven't already. You'll not only get Beyond the Headlines update, other NSC online news reports will be delivered to you. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. We are on Facebook, Instagram, X, as well as TikTok. My name is Amalina Kamal, and I'll see you next week.